Hi there. I am so glad that you decided to join me for this free webinar. So my name is Misty Jakes, and I am a mentor, a life coach, and a trainer. I love to help families reconnect with each other. And my intention for you today is to discover 5 new skills that you can practice at home to help you and your family build better relationships and connect with each other. I love helping people. Um, this is the Fortify Your Family 5 steps to go from confrontations to connections. And I live down in Southern Utah. I have 3 adult kids, and my husband and I are looking to adopt 2 siblings that are 4 and 5 years old. We're going to be starting over, and I am really excited about that. So I'm getting some good parent skills going in my home, learning some things that I'd forgotten about and rediscovering skills that I haven't had to use for a while. I've helped parents for over 15 years in mentoring their families and their kids. And I've homeschooled, I've public schooled, I've been a liaison for the public school system and the homeschooling communities that I've helped to found. I have tons of experience in helping families. I've done it for over 15 years, and I just don't want to quit. I want to help as much as I can. So my disclaimer is I am not a therapist. I am a professional parent. And I have some things to share with you to help you build a legacy that you want. I want to help you break any of those chains that have been handed down from generation to generation to you. I want to help you go from being an overwhelmed parent or a parent full of guilt to being a confident parent that is practicing skills and teaching your kids things that will help them grow and discover their needs and who they are. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. Let me show you. I'm going to share with you my first slide here. Some technical challenges going on here, because I want to start this from the beginning. So I'm going to make sure my slide shows at the beginning. Okay, let's go to this part here. There we go. Now it's going to do what I want. Super fun. So fun using the tech, right? Okay, now I'm going to share my screen. I'm up and ready to go. There we go. There you go. Hope you can see that right there. I have pull up this. Okay, so that's a picture of my son and me. Yeah, he's really tall. He's about 15 years old in that picture. He's probably about 6'1", 6'2" there. I'm like 5 foot nothing. Well, okay, 5 foot 5.5, maybe 5'6" if I, sit up tall. Anyways, he's 15 in this picture, and he is having a great day with me. We're getting ready to go get his permit, and he was super excited to get his license. Who isn't excited to get their license and have the freedom of being able to drive a car around? Well, when you're 15, you get to drive with your parents, and it can be highly stressful, but he's very confident in himself and super excited about going to get, and that's kind of his personality. His super excited is stoic. He's very proud, right? I love him so much. Anyways, so this was a great day. And we had lots of great days, right? We also had some really hard days around this time. And one of those really hard days happened to be that during the week, we had moved his dad out. He helped move his dad out of our home. And he was very angry at me, very angry at his dad, angry at his life, just lots and lots and lots of anger. And so I had come home this one day. I'm going to stop sharing so I can talk with you. I had come home this one day and he had not been home. He was not home. And at this time he was going to public school and I was working 6 jobs and things were rough. And anyways, he was gone. And I had this thought, I need to go through his room. I need to see what's going on in his life. He's not here. And I had that feeling I needed to check his room. And so I went to his room and went through every inch of it. And I found stuff that I didn't want to find. Oh, it was hard stuff that I didn't want to find. And I gathered it all together and I went and got a lock box and I put everything in the lock box, closed it, locked it up. And so I've gone through his room, taken stuff that shouldn't have been there and put it in this box. And in my heart, my mom heart was panicking. I was so scared that I jumped from looking at this stuff into fear mode. And then I went from fear mode into angry mom. And when you add fear and anger, you get the freaked out mom zone. And so that's where I was at. I was at freak out mom zone. And it's not a great place to be when your kids come home. And so as soon as he got home, I thought I'd logically processed everything because I had the lock box. I wasn't going to let him have stuff that would put him in danger. And he walked in to discover I'd been through his room, every inch of it. And he was angry. Who's going to be angry if somebody goes through your stuff? I'm going to be angry. He was angry. I was in freak out mom zone. And so he walked into my wrath. My wrath was ready to rain down on him. Well, rain up because he was taller. But I was going to let him know that he was going to be grounded for a month. I was going to take everything away from him. I was in the overwhelmed freak out mom zone of not logically facing the situation and not connecting with him. I was not in connection zone. I was in this mode of emotional state where I couldn't make proper decisions about the situation. And I created a lot of pain in that moment of confrontation with him. We yelled at each other. I yelled at him, where were you? This is what I found in your room. Why is it in your room? What do you think you were thinking? And he went right up to defense mode. I'm hitting him with all of this anger. And he's put up this wall of, ooh, you don't deserve to know what's going on, Mom. And he's in pain. He's in this emotional pain, and I'm poking at the pain. Poking at the pain. And what happens when somebody pokes a sore that you have? It hurts, and you don't want to take it anymore. And he didn't want to take it anymore. And so what did he do? Can you guess? He up and left and told me he was never coming back. And so now I went from angry to panic. What's he going to do? What is my son going to do now? Okay, so now I'm overwhelmed with emotion. Was not a good place to be. And I realized in that moment that I had gone to a place that I hadn't been for a long time. I considered myself to be very well emotionally controlled. Like I knew how to take care of my emotions. I had done it for years. And so it brought things up from the past for me of what I did when he was a little kid. And when I decided I didn't want to be a parent that yelled. And it was when he was 3. So it brought up past memories. And so I thought about those memories, and I'll share that with you. Because at the age of 3, When he was 3 years old, I decided I wasn't going to be this yelling parent anymore. And I changed my ways, and I had 5 steps that I used to get me out of freak out mom zone to, oh, I'm actually going to parent and connect and build my relationship with this child. Now, the reason why I decided that I needed to do that with him at 3 was because we had some traumatic experiences happen at the age of 3. And so I'll tell you those really quick. The week before I made that decision, we had 9/11 happen. And he was exposed to me watching 9/11 all over and over and over again and not paying attention to his needs. And then a few days later, or probably about a couple of weeks later, he experienced a traumatic event by listening to a phone call that we got that was on our answering machine. That's how long ago this was. He's 24 years old now. So back when he was 3, these things happened when he was little. And anyways, when you come home and you have an answering machine, you push the button, and whatever's been recorded on there, everybody who's standing there hears it. And so push the button. He was 3 at the time, and all of this screaming took place. It was horrible screaming. I had a relative that just learned that her son had died, and this was her screaming and begging for support. Okay, so he experienced that yelling at 3, didn't understand it. And I did a lot of yelling at my kids when they were playing together and not listening and hurting each other. And so that was connected with that screaming. Anyway, so there was trauma based around this yelling. And I wanted change in his life when he was 3. I had found him a few days later just on the floor sobbing. I had yelled from the living room to the other 2 kids who weren't even in there with him. And that yelling showed up in him as uncontrollable sobbing. And he needed some support. And so I decided in those moments when he was 3 that I didn't want to yell anymore. I didn't want to be that parent. I wanted to be a better parent. I wanted to be some place of safety and support. And so I came up with a plan to nip it in the bud. I would not yell anymore, but I needed to practice. And so I set up a plan. I made a system. I had 5 steps that I wrote down on a 3x5 card. We didn't have apps. I had a BlackBerry, right? So, and at that time when he was 3, I had a flip phone, right? Okay, so I had a 3x5 card that I wrote my 5 steps on, and I kept it in my back pocket. And every time I would mess up and start to yell, I would pull out my 3x5 card that told me what to do. And so I'm giving you those 5 steps today to help you. And hopefully you'll download the workbook that I have for you on my website, and you'll be able to take a picture of it and keep it in your phone, in your pocket. Okay. All right. So I have another clip to share with you. Let's go back to what I was sharing before. There you go. Next slide. Okay, maybe this is you. Maybe some of these things look like something that's familiar to you. Maybe you're in a power struggle with your little kids, or maybe you have been yelling at your son and he's not hearing you. He refuses to listen to you, so you continue to raise the volume. Or maybe you realize, I am damaging my kids and creating some trauma and hurting them, and I don't want to do that anymore. And maybe they're yelling back at you. Maybe you're in this mode where you've got a teenager that is yelling at you. Okay. Either way, all of these situations can be overwhelming and stressful for you and for them. And if you're done with that and you want a better way, please understand that you're not alone. 70% of parents struggle to communicate with their kids. And you might have decided to communicate and react a certain way based on your experiences as a kid. Maybe your parents didn't listen to you. Maybe they were abusive in their language to you. Maybe they belittled you, criticized you. So you decided to parent a certain way. Or maybe you're just starting to decide that you're tired of being tired and you want something different. Okay, so if this is the case, then we're going to talk about this really quick, why we have emotional reactions. Okay, emotional reactions are based on the memories that drive us. Now, our emotions drive our behavior. And a reaction is something that we act out over and over and over again. And we do those actions, as we do them, they become habits and they're automatic and they become our behavior. And when they are automatic habits, we get really fast at them. Which is why I have race cars here, because we get really fast. And before we know it, we're in confrontations because we automatically move to them. And then we become overwhelmed with these emotions and reactive, and they begin to pile on us. And finally, we get that one emotion or that one incident where it becomes the straw that broke the camel's back. Now, if you look at that straw that came down, it's a big piece of straw. It's exaggerated, but it's the last one, the one that broke the camel's back, and then we lose it, right? Okay, so I want you to know that our emotions exaggerate, okay? They can take any given situation and lie to us. They can prevent us from being able to logically work out a choice. They're squirrels, they're distractions from the actual person that we're trying to connect with and communicate with, right? Instead, we switch to anger, frustration, fear, and overwhelm. And the emotions are making the decisions. Why do we do that? Well, it's that depth inside of us that shows up when our limbic system in our brain hijacks the frontal part of our brain with a chemical. Now, when we are triggered by something that happens from in our present, we have memories that are attached to things that we experience that are familiar to us, right? And so those things are from our past experiences. We pull them up as a coping mechanism. Well, what do I do about this, right? So it shows up from our past and the chemical dump happens and we have this emotion that shows up connected to our past. And it connects to our present moment because we've stored that in our brain. It's activated. And before you know it, we're in fight or flight response based on past experiences that are trying to make a decision for us in the present moment. And we're not really acting in the present moment. We are acting from our past experiences, right? So we're in the emotion and letting the emotion be in charge. It's not a great place to be. Okay, so we're to step one of the 5 steps. Number 1, manage our emotions. We have to learn how to take down the squirrel. Okay, because the squirrel is anger, frustration, fear, and overwhelm. We're going to stop letting the squirrel be in charge. Stop letting the emotions be in charge. So I love that sometimes we're on fire with emotions. So we're going to use the fireman's technique. We're going to stop, drop, and roll. So how do we stop? Well, we recognize that we are having an emotion and we ID it. What is that emotion? We stop what we're doing. We pay attention. Oh my gosh, I have an emotion. And now I'm going to drop it. I'm dropping the emotion. It is not going to make any decisions for me. I am going to make the decisions. My emotion is not in charge of making decisions. So here we go. I'm going to take that emotion and I'm going to drop it onto a piece of paper. I'm going to write it down. It's going to be dropped onto that paper. I'm going to recognize it, that it's going to exaggerate, and that it's going to distract. So I'm dropping it. Okay, stop. I'm going to drop into the neutral zone. I am going to choose to be neutral because now I've taken that emotion, I've ID'd it. I'm dropping it out of my body onto the piece of paper. I'm going to visualize it out. And now I'm in neutral zone. Guess what I can do when I'm in the neutral zone? I can now focus and roll to the next part of our program. Step number 2. Okay, we're going to roll to focus. Okay, we need to be able to focus to do step number 2 and observe the truth. We need to observe what is the true situation we're in, what is actually happening with them, and what is happening with me. And I take a deep breath and I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to look at them and see what is the physical body doing. Am I towering over a little kid? Or am I level with them, eye to eye, down where they can meet me, where I can meet them where they're at? Or am I trying to rain down on them, right? Or maybe I have a taller kid that I'm trying to have a conversation with. Can I invite them to the kitchen table to have a seat if they're willing? What is the body doing? What am I doing, right? When you talk to your kid, the eyes are really important to watch to see their response. And I'll get to that here in just a minute. We'll talk about that. Are you listening to what they're saying? What do you hear them saying? What emotion? What's the tone? What's coming out of their mouth? Are you 100% focused or just 80%? Sometimes you have to be 70% focused because you have another kid that you're dealing with, right? Can you be 100% focused in the moment? Or are you thinking about that TikTok you just watched 5 minutes ago? Or are you still on your phone trying to decide, am I going to stay here or am I going here and focusing? Okay. What is the feeling? What is the emotion they're expressing? Can you feel the energy coming off of the emotion? And are you staying emotionally neutral? Sometimes you can get into doing this and all of a sudden you're out of the neutral zone and you're in freak out mode again. So it's good to check yourself. Am I still neutral? Right? And what is my spirit feeling? What is my soul feeling? What do I want for them? Can I see them with my heart or am I seeing them with my anger? Okay, what am I seeing them with? Okay, so that's step number 2. Now we're going to move to step number 3. Now it's time to ask some questions to be sure we understand. You might need some more information to be able to know the best way to provide support for their need. So we're going to talk about the 3 C's of asking a question. So the first C is to confirm. Sometimes kids just need you to listen. They're just having this meltdown and they just need a listening ear because they need to vent. Do you talk to people when you need to vent? Yes, you do. I do. Everybody does. Okay, so maybe they're just venting. Don't take it personal. Stay in the neutral zone. It's not about you when they're expressing themselves. It's about them, right? Okay, so can you help them solve the problem? Do they want your help? Sometimes 3-year-olds don't want your help. Okay, what do we do, right? Okay, we find out, is this what you need? Is this what you mean? Okay, confirm what you're doing with them, right? Okay. The second C is to clarify. Can you tell me more about what you're feeling? Can you tell me where it's coming from? Where in your body are you feeling it? What do you mean by this? Is this what you mean? Am I getting it right? Okay. And then the third C is to challenge yourself. Challenge you, not them. You're not going to challenge them. You're going to challenge yourself. Were you making an assumption that you knew what they were going through and what they were talking about? Ask yourself, what do you know now that you didn't know before about this child and the situation? Okay, you've got some new information, right? Okay, now we're going to go to step number 4. Okay, because now we've built a bridge of trust and we can move to step number 4. Okay, we get to decide what the need is. What have they expressed? Okay, there are 6 basic human needs. Okay, we have them, they have them. We're going to start with 3 C's again: connection, contribution, and certainty. Now, everybody connects differently. And some of us connect the same way. And I love Gary Chapman's 5 love languages, because that's how we connect, is through love, right? So I'm going to talk about the GVS side of that here, the growth, variety, and significance. After I talk about connection, I want to talk about connection first. So physical touch is a way to have connection. Sometimes kids just need you to listen and be ready for a hug, right? Sometimes kids are gift givers and they're not understood. And most kids treat you the way they want to be treated when it comes for time for love and connection. So if you have a child that's always bringing you something and giving you something, they're gift givers, and something small may needed to be given to them, right? It doesn't have to be something you paid for. It could be something you made for them, right? Some kids' connection are acts of service. If you know that, you'll know because they're doing stuff for you all the time, right? So you do something for them. That's an act of service, and that's a connection point for them of love. And they notice that you did that with them, right? Or for them. Okay. Not that we need to do everything for them, but find a way to serve, right? Okay. Quality time. So some kids need your time. I had one kid that I would sit down and have a conversation with him, and 2 hours later we were done and he was good. He needed the time. He needed my time of listening to him, right? Okay, words of affirmation. Some of us like to hear positive things. Can you imagine being a kid that is criticized and their love language is words of affirmation? It's devastating, right? So it's important that we know, what is the love language that they need right now? What is the connection? The connection point is the love language, right? Okay, I want to talk about, I'm going to put that back down. Okay, we're going to talk about contribution. Okay, everybody needs to feel like they've contributed to something, contributed to the family. So important for the kids to understand that they are contributors, and what they do, it affects our family. So are they contributing beyond themselves? And do they need somebody to contribute to them? Okay, do they need a hand with something? Okay, the next C on there is certainty. Certainty is the need for safety, stability, and comfort. Okay, certainty, they need to know you have their back. They need to feel certain, all right? That if something changes, you will help support them through the change, right? All right, so what do they need to feel safe? Certainty. Okay, what is that for them? Okay, the next one, the GVS side, or the gives side, growth, variety, and significance. So growth, kids need to have growth. We all need to feel like we're growing and that we're getting better at something. And so maybe that kid needs to know that he is growing in his skills. Maybe he's struggling with something that he doesn't feel like he's growing in. Maybe he's had to start over and start over and start over, and it's frustrating. So acknowledging growth, that they're trying, right, is so important. Variety. We need variety. We have certainty and variety. They're kind of opposite of each other, right? We still need a variety of things in our lives. right? If we're doing the same thing over and over again and we're stuck, we need variety. We need something different. We need a change. So some things need to have change and some things need to stay the same. And when things are changing, then the support is needed, right? Okay. And the last one, significance. All of us need to feel important and valued. We need to feel part of the family. We need to feel significant and valued, that we are of worth, right? All of us need that. Grown-ups need to feel valued. Kids need to feel valued. Okay. So what is the first positive thought that comes to mind as you're deciding what the need is, right? We're still on the step of decide the need. What comes to mind? What do you see in their body? What is the need? What category does it fit in? Is there a boundary in place to support it? Is there a support for the need that needs to happen? Is there an action that needs to be put into practice? What's the need? What do we need to practice? Okay, now we're going to go to step number 5. And a great man, Jeffrey R. Holland, said, we didn't come this far just to come this far. Okay, you know the need, and you have to do the follow through with it. You have to follow through with what you decide is the need. We want them to have as much growth and experience at home as possible. And in order to do that, you as the parent have to follow through with your decision, whether that's holding a boundary, changing something, adding to their significant value. What do they need to do? What do you need to do? Is your action consistent with the need? Okay. Well, the action that you have to take, empower them. Okay. So make a decision and then do it, right? So you're going to take action. You might have to schedule that action, right? You might have to put it in your planner. You can tell them, oh, that's really important to you. And I'm going to write it down here. I can't do it right this second, but here's my planner. We're doing this, and this is when we're doing this. Or, oh, I need to have a discussion with your dad about that so that we can make a decision together. Okay. And then act on that. Okay. And once you've decided what the need is and what the action is you need to take, you have to finish building the bridge. You have to finish it, to follow through with it, right? Because if you don't, you're going to miss that opportunity to help them grow, right? And when they grow, guess who else grows? You do. You grow too, right? So if they're not experiencing growth at home with the provided consequences and providing the quality of meeting the need, then when they become adults and they have to experience the growth and change that comes with their experiences that they could have had at home, it's going to be 10 times harder. So let's have them have the growth here at home. Let's do the follow through so that they can have organic growth, right? We want them to have natural experiences with their growth, right? So look at making a list of things that they might need. Maybe they need specific consequences for specific actions that fit them. Okay. We don't want the consequences to be the boss, because the consequences need to fit the situation, right? And we want them to be natural so that they can have that organic growth. All right. So those are the 5 steps. These are the acronym I like is MOAD because it helps me remember all the steps. So MOAD, step number 1, manage your emotions. What do? We have to stop, drop, and roll to manage those emotions, right? Number 2, observe yourself and your kids. What do you see, hear, and feel? Okay. Step number 3, ask for clarification. The 3 C's: confirm, clarify, challenge. Ask your questions, right? Number 4, D, decide what the need is. We have 6 basic human needs. Which one needs to be met at that time? And number 5 is another D, do your follow through. Okay. Now, if you have questions, I would love for you to email those to me. And I want to share with you some bonuses. As a thank you for being here, I have a bonus to send you. I have a workbook for you. It's a 5-step workbook that follows exactly what we've gone through in this webinar, and it will help you to strengthen your family. If you will send me your information, I will email you a link to download it. So there's a spot in the chat for you to place your email or a link down at the bottom that is going to be connected to this webinar. You click on that link and put your email information in. I will send you this workbook. It will help you be kind to yourself. It will help get you moving on practicing your progress. It means that you don't have to be perfect. It will help you add value to your relationships, and it will help you give yourself a fair evaluation on how you're doing. Okay. So give yourself this free workbook by sharing your email with me. Okay. When you do this, benefits are you will have peacefulness in your heart and mind. And when you know what works for you and your family and your kids, you will practice it and you will not feel guilt. You will be able to get rid of your worry. You'll build stronger relationships with your family. Your availability and focus will be on your kids, and your actions will help build trust because they will be consistent. You'll feel confident in your ability to be the parent that you want to be, and you will improve your legacy. Your kids will be influenced by your example. Okay. So let's fortify your family. And if you decide you want to continue on this journey with me, and you want some mentoring and some coaching to help you through this, you will discover more about how your brain works, where it gets stuck, what your personal patterns are, and what you want to upgrade and wash out of your brain. Some of us have been brainwashed, and we need to wash that stuff out. We need to reprogram our mind. We get to do it. We get to upgrade ourselves, change our patterns, and learn and grow. Now, I want to share with you what has worked that I've learned in my family and help you spread freedom and peace. It gives you so much peace and the freedom that you haven't had before. So let's work on your legacy, because most of these things have been handed down generationally. I was a chain breaker. I decided I did not want to be a yelling parent. I had a letter from one of my clients that reads, "When I came to Misty several years ago for help, she dove right in with grace and love. Her ability to see through my struggles and direct me in new thought processes has put me on a healing path that saved me much anguish." Another friend and client said, "I am more capable, responsible, loving, and powerful because she has been part of my journey. I am beyond thankful for her guidance and direction in my life." Another letter reads, "Both myself and my children have been blessed to have Misty Jakes as a friend and mentor for many years. She has the ability to ask the right questions and really get to the heart of the matter, enabling her to walk her mentees through challenges with parenting, marriage, educational, and personal matters." Another letter reads, "She has a depth and breadth of mentoring experiences with adults as well as children and youth. When paired with her natural gifts of compassion, friendship, and love for others, the impact is truly powerful. May everyone be blessed with such a mentor." Years ago, when I decided to change my patterns, I changed my family's legacy. If I can break those chains of yelling and overwhelm and letting my emotions be in charge, you can too. It is your turn. I know you can do this if you want to. Be the chain breaker in the family. Decide what kind of legacy you want to leave. Decide to fortify your family and strengthen your relationships. All you need is someone to help you decide what your plan is. Have some practice and some accountability. And when you can measure it, you can see the changes, you can see your results, you can see your growth. And I want you to see that. I want that for you. So I have a Fortify Your Family program, and it is a 10-week program of support and training. It has a live group training on Tuesdays from 8 to 10 a.m. Each one of those will be recorded for you to watch later if you need to. I will also have pre-recorded modules with homework in them for you to do and to practice. So if you are interested in being part of the group program, then let's schedule a free 45-minute discovery call with me. Now, you may want to do this program on your own at your own pace, which is wonderful. We can talk about that in this phone call, or you may want to work with me one-on-one. So for the first 5 callers that decide to sign up, the first 5 people that decide to sign up, they will get a one-on-one session with me for 5 weeks of the 10-week program. And that won't be at any additional cost to them. So if that's what you want the one-on-one time, and you want to be part of the 10-week program, let's talk about it. Let's have a discovery call and see if this is going to be right for you. If the things I've taught you today feel good and you want more, and you want a peace of mind, you want to be free of worry and guilt, you want to build stronger relationships, and you want the self-confidence and the self-understanding, and you want to be kind to yourself and have joy and change your legacy, this program will give you new choices, will help you feel your value, help you feel connected. It will help you open your mind to the new possibilities so that you can feel relief. Your kids can trust you, and you can have hope, and your kids will feel safe and supported, and you will feel supported. Book your discovery call with me. Don't click on that. If you will go into the chat box, I have a link there just for you so that you can click on that, and that will take you to my scheduling Calendly program so that you can schedule your time with me. Now, your discovery call is free, and we'll talk about the program. We'll talk about what you want, what your needs are. My mission is to help strengthen families and their relationships, to end parent guilt, and to help you feel relief from the pressure you feel now. You don't need to be perfect. You only need progress and practice. And if this is the right time for you, let's discover what will work for your family. Let's discover what kind of parent you want to be. Okay, let's fortify your family. I want to fill the gap that keeps you from progressing. I want to help you break your chains. I want to help you grow. Let's talk. Let's get together. Let's talk about what your needs are. Let's help fortify your family. Click on the Calendly link and let's have that conversation. I would love to talk to you. Thank you so much for being here today. Have a great day.